mentor here at UMedia. I head up the virtual reality and augmented reality section. And right now I'm going to be going over one of the projects that I'm working on right now. I'm actually taking a mural and I'm going to be creating an animated video from it and then overlaying that video in augmented reality. So if you're not familiar with augmented reality it's kind of like the Pokemon Go. Essentially, augmented reality is overlaying digital art over real world objects. So when you look at this mural that you see up on the screen here, I'm going to be able to take a look at that, and that will be animated. So first I want to show, before we go into this, I'm going to show you the app that I'm using. I'm using what's called the Ijac app, which is really simple. You don't have to do any coding or anything. It's really a lot of fun. So this will kind of be an example of kind of how this works. So yeah, when you hold up your phone or your iPad, all this stuff comes to life. Add like a sound to it, like music, and just it makes an experience. Or like this one here, where one little piece comes to life and makes it kind of almost like a snapshot. But this particular app is probably more for like public art installations. Or graphic novels. So if you happen to have like a graphic novel and you want to kind of, market your thing, this is great for marketing because it's something different. It's not like the same stuff that you see out there every day. It's really great if you want to start your own brand. It's really great to be able to kind of make whatever you do pop and make it different than all the rest. Because everything's being done, and it's good to look at these new technologies and see where you can go with it. So some of the art on this site, so these little illustrations this one's selling for $25. So you can sell your stuff. You can sell like limited edition pieces and have it come to life with your phone. Or you can create some like digital bling for your brand, whatever that brand would be. So okay, so we got to that. So I'll show you really quick the app on the phone. I'm gonna make my screen a little bit bigger here. Oops, not that one. Let's go to my video capture. Okay, make me a little bit bigger. Whoa. Okay, so here's the app here. I'm gonna hit the little button. So I'm gonna take our Hartford Public Library card here. So I'm using, basically when you were doing augmented reality, you have to have what's called a target, kind of like a QR code type of thing. So for this one, I'm using that actual logo for the Hartford Public Library on there as the target. And hopefully this works right. So when you put this up here, trying to see if I can get this to record from a phone. Not always easy. All right, so a little bit hard to say. Bear with me here. Okay, that's better. All right, I'm gonna move that over. So I have this little one of our mascots for the Hartford Library that dances on the actual business card because it knows that the animation needs to go over on this card. So anybody with this particular piece, anybody with a Hartford, sorry, that's a little messy. Anyone with one of these cards with that logo on it, it would play that if they were to download that app. All right, so let's get into this. Let's minimize me so you can see what we are doing today. A little bit bigger. Okay, so we're going to go back to Photoshop. All right, so Photoshop. This is the piece. This is a mural down in New Haven. it is this is a pretty good sized piece. It was by this artist named David De La Mano out of Argentina. I actually talked to the artist. It's very important that, I feel like it's very important that I talk to the actual creator of the artist, and if I'm going to animate this, I don't want to do something that he doesn't want, or he or she, but in this case he. So this piece represents a black entrepreneur in New Haven back in the early 19th century, and I think he was around 1860 something to 1890 something around there. So this gentleman that he is representing actually was responsible for creating the Long Wharf in New Haven. He actually came up with all the technology and all the ships and hired a whole bunch of people to do this. So he faced a lot of, he did a lot of good for the community, but because of the times, he faced a lot of hardships. So this mural, the sticks that show up here, all these sticks represent the hardships that he had to endure, and the birds represent soaring above that and kind of going to a better place. Soaring above all the hate and all that type of stuff. So what I'm doing here. Let's see, I'm here. So I'm gonna take this. So the first thing I want to do to animate this. So this is the mural itself. What I did was separated all the layers. So you'll see here, I took and made a nice clean clean background, and then I actually redrew everything so that it all fit. So you can see that this is one layer. I'll make sure this is showing here. The gray is another layer, and then these are layers also. So I just redrew everything. That way I can take and animate that. So this is the tree. I almost think the red tree represents kind of like a lifeline. Like, this person was part of the life of New Haven, one of the founders, basically, of some really great stuff. So so I separated everything. From there, I brought it into a program called After Effects. So let's minimize that and minimize that, and let's go into After Effects. Where are we? Aha, okay. Here's After Effects. So After Effects, we have the beginning of this video, and I have the Long Wharf kind of appearing along with that red tree, which is kind of like the lifeline. And then these trees, these things start to appear. And I have these all timed to the music. So I actually went in to the music that I'm using for this particular piece and had these kind of hit each of the notes that I wanted. So these just keep going and going and going. So it feels slower. So it's gonna do this basically, and then I'm gonna have the birds flying in from the Long Wharf there. So it goes boom, 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 and then at this point, I don't have this yet, but they're going to fly up, and then once they fly up, they're all going to kind of fly out of the picture. However, one thing I'm going to change here, which I don't have this yet, but at about this point, I'm going to have all these sticks moving, so like they're all moving in the background. So you can see I can move certain things in this. So I'm going to have them moving, and then I'm going to have these birds kind of flying in place. So to animate these birds, these were actually pretty simple. These were also cutouts, so let's move this little piece here. Let's delete that for now, Go back in, show you one of the bigger pieces. Okay, So let's take this little guy here. Wait a second. Okay, actually, I think I have them locked. Yeah, see over the left here, it's good to lock certain layers so that you don't accidentally do anything to them. But I'm just showing this as an example, so it doesn't matter if I mess with it at all. But I kind of want to show you how this works. So here is one of the birds here. So what I did was I actually added what's called pins. So if I was to do this, wait a second. Okay. So if I added pins in here, I could take and move those around and then animate those keyframes. So I could actually do this. Now notice the top isn't moving because the keyframe, I don't have a keyframe on that top of the wing. But if I was to have that there, I could take and move that around. So then the next part into animating this, I'm not going to animate this right now. Basically, the best thing to do, like when I was animating the birds, what I would do is bring in a reference animation, and then kind of go frame by frame and copy the pose, and it's essentially a cycle. It just keeps cycling through. Let's go back in. Let's see what else I got here. Don't save that. I don't want to save that. Alright, I think this was one earlier on. Yeah, so I'd animate those. So once the animation is all done, then I would render that, and I would take the original piece. I would have that as a target in the app. Actually, I'm going to open the app right now, the Ijac app, so you can see how it works. Let's see, 4 viewers, cool. All right, opening up the Ijac app right now. It's going to take a second. I will share that with you. Let's take and go to. Okay, Ijac app. Where is it? Alright, let me just open up another window. Bear with me. I'm going to go to game capture, see if I can find it in there. Oops. Nope. Ignore that, please. Okay. Alright. Bear with me. I am trying to find the right window. This part I wasn't going to put in here, but I will. Alright, so as source, that is the Ijac app, but I'm looking for the actual app that I have open. I don't seem to be able to find that. Okay, what if I do? Alright, it might not work there. Okay. And this is what we deal with, is little technical glitches. Alright, so I'm going to do window capture. Shift.arch. Do this. Showing it? No. Okay. Hold that thought. Okay, where is it? Where is it? There. From Steam settings. Okay. Actually, instead of window capture, let's go to display capture. That would be better. Of course, it doesn't work. All right. Well, anyway. Essentially, what you would do is take that piece, take and load the background image, and then load the foreground animation that I would create out of After Effects here, and then load in any music that would kind of overlay that. render that together, and that would be done. And then you have a QR code or you have a download link, and then you can link that together. So anyway, while you're on here, I'm going to work on this a little bit, kind of show you some of the process. Let's go back to here. Let's see. Go back to my After Effects window so you can see me working. Okay. Alright, why is it not showing it now? Alright, there it is. There it is. Alright, so I'll be working on this. So I've got these pieces. Boom, 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 boom. Show up. Alright, zoom out there. So if anyone's never used After Effects before, you have your timeline on the bottom here. Several layers. Each of these layers is the separate lines. You can see these little marks here. And I have animated them going in. So let's say if I wanted to adjust one of these. So I'm going to zoom into one of these just to kind of show you an example. Go into here. Okay, so I have this piece animated. It goes from thick to thin. Scroll down on this. So what I animated there was the stroke. So the stroke went from, where is it? Stroke went from 180 to, what is it, 27? 27, yeah, so 27. So let's say if I wanted that more. So if I wanted that more, it's just that one stroke. I can move that up like that. So essentially, start frame is now 733, end frame is 27. So that would make it go like that. So the animation in here is like really simple. Always better, like I said, it's always better to time beforehand. Basically, what I did with this is, so this is where the beat is that I want, and then I made each one of these go to a half a second. So half, this can on most of the computers, 1 second is 30 frames. So I counted 15 frames for that whole piece, and that goes in like that. And what's nice is, once I animate this, if I feel like these aren't enough, that these don't actually, they're not big enough at the beginning, if I want it more like that, I can go back in and adjust all those little things. The setup takes a long time. The setup does take a while. So I'm going to keep it at that 180 because I like that. Okay. All right, let's go in. Birds. So to make these turn, I basically animated them in one way and just flipped it. I didn't even make an animation of it looking straight on because it didn't really need all that. So let's see how this looks so far. I've got this is the point where they're going to come out. Right now they're coming out a little bit later. I want them to come out sooner. And this probably is not rendering in real time. It's doing like a preview render, so it's actually quicker than that. Alright, so at this point they all start flying up. And all I had to do with those is I made the animation of the loop of the bird. I put it on a path so it moves. And then I just made it get bigger. That was pretty simple. All right, that is all I wanted to show you today. I do have some students coming in shortly. If anybody is interested in learning anything about animation, either with After Effects, Illustrator, any of the Adobe suite, or the virtual reality, augmented reality, definitely sign up for one of our classes. We have Hartford High coming in couple students today. We are definitely looking for more people to come in, and we are keeping it safe to where, after a person uses one of the headsets, we wipe them down, and we only allow a certain amount of people to come in. I know in my area right now, I only allow 4 people to come in at a time, and that keeps it nice and still. But I look forward to hopefully the fall, when everything is opened up more and we can get more people in. Anyway, I will see you